Hey, welcome to week 6, everyone. Just a video to update you on a few things. We'll talk about the week 6 content and expectations for this week. I'm going to talk a little bit about just that term paper project, and then I'll discuss the midterm exam as we're getting a little bit closer to that. And for those who like cat videos, I have one in my lap. You say hi? All right. Clearly, I'm getting old. So week 6, we look at security and force, and so this is really going to sort of kick off a series of lectures where we, really use those theoretical frameworks that we've studied to this point to sort of evaluate these different concepts and topics here, because depending on the perspective that you are approaching these topics from, really sort of dictates kind of your response to them. And in security and force, this is one area where you're going to see me cover several, basically the four main theories that we've looked at: realism, liberalism, constructivism, and critical theory. And so I'm going to give you sort of perspectives that originate from those various sources there. And this is it's a little bit of a tricky lecture because I'm going to posit some ideas upon you that you may have different sort of reactions to, obviously, the different perspectives. A critical realist would tell you, build as big a military as you can to defend yourself. So countries like China, for instance, leverage that. A liberalist is going to tell you, if you look at, and I introduced the concept of liberal institutionalism in this lecture here, and they're going to say, we're like, small fish in a big ocean. We need to pull school together for our own safety. Constructivists will say that, it's social ties and cultural ties that keep us safe. And then critical theorists are going to come in and tell you that, basically every conflict just is designed to protect the interests of the wealthy there. So a lot of disparate ideas there. And I'm just presenting them for you so you can sort of understand them and kind of think on and evaluate them independently on your own as you consider these different things going on in the world here. And in truth, what is the truth? The truth is it's probably a mix of all of these in different situations. We're going to have you, if I haven't already, I'll have you read a piece that looks at sort of criticisms of classical liberalism in the sense, in the context of Ukraine and Russia there, and how, the fact that Russia is a member of the United Nations, and both of these countries are democracies, they still manage to go to war with one another, which really sort of works against a lot of the theories of liberal institutionalism. More to come there. I just wanted to say, week 6 is a little light on content because that presentation or that lecture there is a little bit longer there. So I think it's like 46 minutes. So to ensure that you have time to listen to me drone on for 46 minutes, I've given you fewer assignments this week. You do have one other video. Before I get to that, we'll say, you're only reading this week is from chapter 6 of your textbook there. This is a discussion week, so no assignment this week. I've given you another video here called Does Social Media Leave You, sorry, it's not a video, it's an audio file. Does social media leave you feeling angry? That might be intentional. This has nothing, directly to do with, the topic of security and force, but it does relate to international relations and how information is framed, and the emotional or affective response that it causes in people there. I think if you took my class, my other class last semester, you probably had this before, so I apologize. You're doubling up on assignments. I'll tell you one of the other reasons that are sort of motivated to explore this as well is that, we're increasingly seeing, mental health challenges in young, teenagers and young adults in particular, and the variable that seems to correlate most highly with it is the prevalence of social media. So I think it's good for us to reflect on that, and I reflect on it myself in terms of how much. What does social media kind of do to me? And I'll tell you that I'm a person who's specifically avoided, certain social media just because I know that I'm going to get sucked into the rabbit hole of responding to people and this, that, or the other. So here for this discussion, it's basically a reflection on your social media usage. I want you to look at, the effect or the extent to which it affects you. Is it positive? Is it negative? There's no right or wrong answers here. I can tell you, we went through this last semester, and some people were like, yeah, it really impacts me, and I probably need to cut it back. Other people were like, you know what, it's just a thing. Doesn't get me worked up one way or the other. And like I said, no right or wrong answer here. Just looking for people to reflect there. And in my American government class, we talk about it more in the context, obviously, of public opinion formation and ideology. But it's going to correspond to, for instance, there's a little bit on media in this week's lecture here about the effects of cultural association and how it affects our opinions about other countries. So people that look like us, like the Ukrainians, for instance, who look like Westerners, are we more likely to send arms and aid to them to support them than I use the example of the Uyghurs, the Islamic sect in China that's facing oppression. Are we less likely to help them because we don't associate, we can't culturally connect those ties there together, which is a very constructivist approach. So that's in that lecture. So that's it for week 6. Like I said, it's a little bit light because the lecture there is a little heavier. I'm going to post here in the next couple of days step 2 of your term paper project. So that will be essentially a literature review, and it's only going to be a couple pages. So this project is designed to be a mini research paper. And my actual objective with it is more to get you to go through the steps of designing an academic research paper and the organization of it. And the best way I found to do that is to give little short papers that then combine in the end to one final piece. I'm, less concerned about. You'll see. I want you to have a couple sources for this section here. I'm not, just so you know, because I get this question a lot. I do not care how you cite the sources. My only standard is could I find the sources if I needed to? Could I be able to look them up? So I don't care about MLA, APA, any of that sort of thing. I don't want you to, waste. I don't say waste your time, because if this were an advanced level course or a graduate course, obviously I'd be looking for that. For the sake of this, and what this course is, it's not as important. But you'll find all sorts of details there. Like I said, the next couple of days that'll be posted. We're coming up on the midterm exam here shortly, so this is week 6. The midterm exam is going to take place during week 8. And I'm going to provide, so at some point in the next, week or so, I'm going to provide you with review material. So there'll be a review sheet that gives you the topics that you can narrow your studying to. What I'm also going to do is, so I mentioned in the syllabus that there's going to be a couple opportunities for you to engage in a live sort of interaction via Microsoft Teams. I'm going to do a review session, a live review session. If you attend that, if you log into it, because I'll provide the link and all that, then I'll give you the 5 points. It's basically 5% of your grade to show up to one of these. There'll be other opportunities if you can't make it. So I understand if you have to work or have kids, have sports or something like that. It's not a problem. I am going to record it, so it'll be accessible to everyone. So even if you can't make it live for that. So more details to come on that, but that'll be week 8. So look for that as well. In terms of other things, I would say I'm behind in grading, but I'm always behind in grading. So I'm trying to catch back up on that this week as well. So I hope you enjoy the course material this week. Hopefully it makes you think. Again, we've set up these models and we're trying to now sort of investigate different areas of international relations relative to these various perspectives here to sort of get a better foothold of kind of what's going on. So have a great week, everyone, and talk to you soon.